Deep, warm pads slowly rise from silence, expanding like a soft purple fog filling the space. A distant low-frequency pulse begins to form. No sharp edges, no sudden movement. Everything breathes slowly. A faint melodic hint appears, but it never resolves, lingering just enough to create tension. The air between us starts to change, not wide, not close, but something strange. Time feels stretched, nothing begins, but everything is already happening. Becomes more defined, steady and deep. Bassline enters smoothly, wrapping around the rhythm. Soft vocal echoes appear in fragments, stretched and reversed. Hi-hats begin to shimmer lightly, adding motion without urgency. The atmosphere thickens, still controlled but pulling deeper. We're burning without fire, closer but never higher, lost in a silent desire, falling but still in control. We're burning without fire, nothing to take us higher, caught in a quiet wire, running deep. pulls back slightly, bass smoothens out. Pads expand again, filling the space with warmth. Echoes stretch longer, fading into the next phase. Rhythm returns more clearly. Groove becomes fluid, slightly more alive. To let this distance fade away, we let the silence lead the way. Your breath aligns with mine again, a quiet loop without an end. No need to touch, no need to try. We stay between the low and high. This feeling grows without a name. No start, no end, no sense of frame. Just something moving deep inside, a hidden wave we never hide. Your presence bends into my space, like something time cannot erase. Not close enough to feel it real, but far enough to keep the feel. We drift into a softer zone, where nothing feels like fully known. A place between the truth and lie, where we don't question how or why. It's getting harder not to stay, but still we slowly drift away. A paradox. atmosphere darkens almost imperceptibly. Pads shift into deeper frequencies, losing brightness and gaining density. A low, rounded bass tone begins to pulse. Not rhythmic at first, more like pressure building beneath the surface. Kick returns slowly, heavy but soft-edged, landing deep in the mix. Hi-hats become minimal, almost ghost-like. Melodic elements fade into fragments. A note appears, stretches, disappears. Nothing resolves. The space feels narrower, yet infinitely deeper. This is no longer a scene, it's a state of being. We're deeper now than we should be, somewhere beyond what we can see. Not lost, not found, not even near. Just something holding us both here. Your outline fades into the tone. Not fully yours, not fully gone. Like something slipping out of place, but still remaining in the space. I try to trace where this began, but lose the thread each time I can. There was no start, no moment clear, just something slowly drawing near. Your voice is softer than before, like it belongs to something more. Not here, not gone, not fully mine, but drifting somewhere out of time. The air between us bends and folds, a quiet weight that slowly holds. Not pulling close, not pushing far, just shaping what we almost are. I feel it deeper in my chest, a silent force that never rests. No pulse to follow, no release, just something underneath the peace. We move but never really change inside the slow and shifting range. No step ahead, no step behind, just something looping in the mind. Your presence lingers like a stain, not something sharp, not something plain. It spreads without a form or edge, a slow descent without a ledge. We never chose, we never planned, but still it slips beyond our hands. The state we're in begins to stay, not fading out, not drifting away. I lose the sense of time and place, everything blends into one space. Your breath, the sound, the air, the tone, it all becomes a single zone. There's no more distance left to cross, no gain, no measure, and no loss. We've moved beyond what we can feel into something less, but more real. It doesn't burn, it doesn't break, it doesn't give, it doesn't take. It only stays and pulls us through into a state we never knew. Bass lock into a hypnotic loop, deep, steady, almost meditative. The groove no longer pushes forward, it cycles inward. Low pass filters open and close, slowly breathe emotion into the sound. Granular textures swirl in the background, barely noticeable but constantly shifting. Melodic elements reduced to minimal repeating tones. A single note echoes, delays, dissolves, returns again. Stereo field contracts, then expands unexpectedly. Time feels circular, nothing progresses, everything deepens. We're burning without fire. Deeper but not higher, nothing to break the wire, holding us under the same. We're burning without fire, lost don't let it show. Still, we don't let it show. Energy does not collapse, it softens. Kick remains but sinks deeper. Bass stretches longer between notes. Heads widen again, but now feel emptier, colder. Melodic fragments dissolve midair. Nothing ends. It simply releases tension slowly. There's something shifting in the air, not disappearing, just not there. The way we carry through the night is slowly losing all its fight. You look at me but not the same, like something changed within the frame. The tension we refuse to break now gently starts to bend, to shake. We held it longer than we knew, between what's false and what is true. But now it feels like letting go is something we both start to know. Your breath no longer pulls me in, it drifts across the edge of skin. Not something strong, not something weak, just something softer than we speak. The heat is still but not as tight. It doesn't press the same tonight. It spreads into a wider space and slowly loses its embrace. We never touched, we never tried, but still we felt it deep inside. And now it fades without a fight, like something dissolving into light. Your presence starts to slip away, not leaving, just not here to stay. A slow release, a quiet end to something we could never burn. We almost speak but let it go, because the words would break the flow. We keep it silent, keep it still, and let it fade without a will. This isn't lost, this isn't game, just something moving through the same. A softer fall, a gentler tone, a feeling finally left alone. night and lose the fight. The shift is almost invisible. Rhythm does not stop, it thins. Kick is still there, but distant, like a memory of impact rather than impact itself. Bass stretches into longer tones, less movement, more presence. Pads expand wider than before, filling not just space, but absence. High frequency shimmer softly, like reflections on a surface that isn't fully there. Melody dissolves into fragments, nothing leads, everything drifts, drifts, drifts. It's quieter now than it has been, not empty, just thinner within, like something leaving without a trace, but still remaining in the space. You're still here, but not the same, not something I can try to name, more like a tone that fades in air, a presence soft but barely there. We never needed it to stay, we never shaped it in a way that forced it into something real, or gave it something we could feel. It lived between what could have been and something we were never in, a state that didn't ask to last, just something moving through the past. Your presence softens into light, no longer pulling through the night, just drifting slowly out of reach, beyond what either of us could teach. The warmth remains, but barely so, not something rising, just a glow, a quiet trace that still survives without a need to stay alive. We didn't break, we didn't fall, we never touched it at all, but still it moved through every line. And left a mark but felt designed. And I try to hold what still remains, but nothing here responds to names. It slips through every form I made, like something never meant to take. You fade into a white tone, no longer yours, no longer known. A subtle shifted channel slide, from something shared to undefined. Kick dissolves into sub-pulses, bass becomes a long breathing layer, pads dominate the entire field, granular textures shimmer, forming and dissolving continuously. Melodic structure is nearly gone, only echoes of tones remain. This is not rhythm anymore, this is suspension. Burning for fire, but fading into silence. Nothing left to hold on, nothing fades to see. There's no restart, only continuation in another form. No rhythm, no clear tonal center, just a slow moving harmonic field. Sound no longer occupies space, it is the space. It's not the same, not even close. Not something ending, more like it goes beyond the shape we try to keep, into a space that doesn't sleep. You're not here, but not gone too. Just not the way I once knew you. A softer trace, a distant tone, a feeling I don't call my own. I try to place what this became, but every thought dissolves the same. No clear before, no after line, just something drifting out of time. Your echo lingers in the air, but not enough to hold it there. It fades before it can arrive, like something barely still alive. We didn't lose, we didn't stay, we just slowly slipped away. Not from each other, not apart, but from the center of the start. The night is gone, but still it's here. Not in the sound, but in the air. A quiet weight, a distant glow that never leaves, but doesn't show. I feel it less, but deeper now. Not something loud, not something loud, just something spread across the space, without a form, without a face. And maybe this is what it meant. Not something broken, just unspent. A moment stretched beyond its end, that never needed to descend. No kick, no groove, granular synthesis. Textures expand and collapse slowly. Harmonic tones drift across the stereo field. No repetition, no expectation, only movement without direction. We were burning without fire, now it's something even lighter. No need to pull, no need to stay, it already slipped is no clear beginning. What remains from before does not restart, it lingers. A thin layer of high-frequency texture slowly emerges, almost imperceptible, like distant light filtered through something undefined. No kick, no bass, no rhythm. Only a soft, shifting harmonic field. The stereo space no longer feels left or right. It feels boundless, directionless. Tiny fragments of sound appear, stretch, dissolve, and reform in different places. Not structured, not random, something in between. The atmosphere does not expand. It absorbs. There's nothing left to anchor this. No ground, no edge, no point to miss. It doesn't fall, it doesn't rise. It doesn't stay in any size. You're not a voice I recognize. Not something shaped for human eyes. More like a tone that shifts and fades between unspoken silent waves. I try to hold what once was near, but every trace dissolves from here. No echo lingers long enough to ever feel like it was us. There is no frame to keep it still, no sense of want, no trace of will, just something moving without aim that never settles into name. The memory softens into tone, not something felt, not something known. A distant form that cannot stay, yet never fully fades away. You're not here, but not erased. Not something time has ever placed. Just something slipping out of you, yet somehow still surrounding too. I reach for what I cannot find and lose the shape within my mind. It stretches past what I can trace into a slow and endless space. There is no distance left to cross, no gain remains, no sense of loss. We move beyond what we could feel into something less, but more real. Not warmth, not cold, not dark, not light, just something underneath all sight. A subtle shift, a hidden layer, a silent, endless kind of air. No rhythm returns. Granular textures drift slowly, forming clouds of sound that never settle. Microtones bend and glide through the stereo field, creating movement without direction. Very subtle harmonic pulses appear, not rhythmic but breathing. Sound behaves like liquid suspended in space. Time loses continuity. There is no loop, yet everything feels like one. We were something once, now no, not even that. Just a trace. melody fades into air. Mid-tones stretch and lose structure. A faint harmonic shimmer remains, barely audible, then dissolves into perception itself. No ending, just absence of form. Nothing begins. Instead, something becomes noticeable. A single, ultra-thin frequency emerges at the edge of hearing. Not a tone, more like a presence. No rhythm, no harmonic structure. The stereo field is no longer space. It is void like continuity. Sound does not move. It simply exists. There is no edge to where this stays, no frame to hold it in a phase. Not something lost, not something found, just something never fully bound. I try to sense what once was real, but there is nothing left to feel. No trace of warmth, no hint of cold, no story left to be retold. You're not a thought I can recall, not something shaped at all. A fading shift inside the wide, with nowhere left to ever hide. There's no before, no after now. No need to question when or how. Just something endless without form. A quiet, uncreated storm. The shape of thought begins to break. No structure left for it to take. It stretches thin beyond its place and disappears without a trace. I let it drift, I let it go, but not because I chose it so. There is no will, no need, no aim, just something moving without name. What once was close is now too wide to ever be kept inside. It's not escaping, not released, just something that has slowly ceased. No echo left, no sound returns, no quiet flame, no hidden burns. Just something softer than a void that cannot ever be destroyed. There is no silence here to hold, no sound to measure, no control. Just something beyond both stays, when nothing separates. No identifiable sound source, no rhythm, no melody, no progression, only evolving frequencies, shifting at an almost imperceptible rate. Occasionally, a harmonic overtone appears, then fades before recognition. Time fully collapses. We were before the sound. We were without a ground. We were not even near. We were not even here. We were beyond the flame. We were without a name. We were not defined. We were Nothing was lost. All frequencies thin toward the edge of perception, not fading to silence, but fading beyond hearing. For a moment, it feels like something is still there. Then even that perception dissolves. No resolution, no conclusion, only absence of distinction. Near absence, something barely begins to exist. Not a sound, more like a shift in the air itself. A very low frequency vibration slowly emerges almost below perception. It does not form a rhythm, but it suggests one. High frequency particles flicker faintly in the distance like distant light through fog. No defined pads yet, only a thin harmonic line forming and dissolving. The stereo field is still vast, but something new appears. A subtle center begins to exist. Not stable, not defined, but present. This is the first sign. Something is trying to come back. Something moves, I feel it now. Not fully formed, I don't know how. It doesn't rise, doesn't fall. It almost feels like nothing at all, but still it shifts beneath the space. A quiet change I can't replace. Not something heard, not something seen, but something in the in-between. There was a time when all was still. No sense of want, no trace of will. No echo left, no tone remained. Just endless silence, undefined. But now there's something slightly more. A trace that wasn't there before. A fragile curve inside the air. A subtle presence forming there. You're not returning, not as you. Not something solid I once knew, just something close to being real. A distant shape I almost feel. kick, not a beat, but a repeating sub-frequency motion. A faint pad slowly grows behind it, thin, stretched, almost transparent. Microtextures begin to orbit the center. The sound field starts organizing itself, not structured yet, but no longer infinite chaos. This is the first hint of direction. We were nothing, now a trace, something forming in the space. We were gone, now almost near, something shifting, still unclear. We were silence, now a tone, not yet formed, not fully known. We were lost beyond recall, now something moves, but not yet whole. Not a fire, not a flame, just a shift without a name. Not a voice, not a sound, but something turning all around. Not a rise, not a fall, just a hint of something more. Not a start, not an end, just a curve that starts to bend. The pulse continues softly. The pad expands slightly, still minimal, but more stable. High frequency shimmer becomes clearer, like distant stars slowly coming into focus. Nothing collapses, nothing resolves. But one thing is certain now. This is no longer the void. Something is building. The pulse from before stabilizes. For the first time since everything dissolved, it locks into a pattern. A soft, deep kick finally emerges. Not strong, not aggressive, but grounded. It lands gently, like weight returning to the body. Bass follows slowly, warm, rounded, minimal movement. Not a groove yet, just alignment. The thin pad expands behind it, now more audible. Still soft, still distant, but no longer fragile. A faint rhythmic hi-hat, texture flickers in and out. Not consistent, just testing presence. This is the moment. Form begins again. Feeling now, it's coming back. Not all at once, not fully intact. A slower shape, a softer line, something rebuilding over time. It doesn't rush, it doesn't break, it doesn't force what it can take. becomes clear. Kick is steady. Bassline begins to move. Slow, minimal but intentional. Hi-hats lock into a soft